So going back, I spoke about the appeal, and I said it many times that Valva and Paulina, especially Valva, should have been charged with first-degree murder. And there was a law that was passed by Gavin Patterson in 2009, I believe, Nix-Murray law. And that law was specifically designed to prevent child abuse-related crimes. By charging parents connected to the crime of the death of their children with first-degree murder. So when I addressed I addressed this issue with a top prosecutor, Carrie Kelly, she insisted that this law does not apply to Tammy. Why? And her answer was because Tammy was not directly punched. I don't understand this answer, because to me, when you have such a severe abrasion, injury, deep cut through like several layers of skin and symmetrical on your forehead. We know how forehead is sensitive. And, thinking about even from the Bible times when Goliath was hit with the rag by David, right? And he immediately collapsed and died. Like, that area was tremendously severely injured, the forehead area, when we saw it at the medical examiner's office. And obviously, we also have recordings that Valva is holding his head above Tammy's mouth. And even Paulina screams, take your hand, because he was suffocating him. And that law absolutely apply to Michael Valva. He should be charged with first-degree murder without possibility of parole. And that's the bottom line. And also, the law was designed so it increases the sentence for an adult convicted of torturing a child, right? And were my children tortured? Of course they were tortured to the point that any time Valva and Paulina did it, it placed my children's life in tremendous danger. And they trying to hide this whole history of abuse because it's not convenient for them, because how they can present Valva as a good guy if he was doing all this to my children. But the ritual tortures, because my children were also victims of satanic rituals, those were horrific. I can tell you right now that they were even placed substances of my children's body to paralyze them, so they can be easily raped, sexually abused, tortured, and kids weren't even able to move, to walk. And a lot of times they weren't even coming to school. But East Mauritius Elementary School covered that up. They did not mark them as absent. East Mauritius Elementary School, that's another topic, but I don't understand why they are being placed as heroes. I don't understand. Look, you have a child coming to your school, you have a child coming to your class barely standing with bruises, cuts, starved to death, looking for crumbs on the floor. For God's sake, aren't you calling 911? Why aren't you calling 911? Why aren't you calling ambulance to check, to give a medical attention to my children who deserve it? How do you know that their internal organs are okay if you see, extended injuries on them? Why are you still conducting a classes when my son is at a report and my son Anthony just laid down on a back table, barely functioning, barely able to walk? How do you even conduct the classes? How do you even move along just being okay with the situation? Why aren't you going right after school to the Suffolk candidate's office and filing criminal reports? You see that CPS is not doing anything. You see that they just protecting the abusers. I'm not pointing fingers at the teachers, but please, I also have degree in teaching. I know you have to go through exams, workshops. You trained to help children in this situation. And I'm gonna tell you this because I feel like my heart is speaking right now. I will tell you this because I own it to Tammy, who lost his life, was brutally murdered because the truth of what happened to my children needs to be spoken loud and clear. East Mauritius Elementary School officials took a part in sexually abusing and trafficking my children. And that's the whole truth. And help me God, to live up to the day that they're gonna be criminally charged for those heinous crimes. Kids, my children were not safe in East Mauritius Elementary School. They were not safe, my friends. They were not safe there. And that's why nobody called 911. That's why everything was covered up. Planted pedophiles in that school who just go about their business so frequently. My kids were sexually abused and trafficked before school, during, after school, on the weekends. And if I have to count the numbers of those evildoers who did it to my children, it will be probably in hundreds. I'm not exaggerating that. That's why this case is so evil and so deeply protected by the evil people, for nothing to come out, for nothing to be said, and for the truth to be hidden. But enough is enough. Enough is enough. I know only God can make all of this to come out. It's impossible for us. It's only God's mercy that the whole truth regarding my children's case will be exposed. Because we're dealing with very dangerous, high-ranking pedophiles who will do anything to hide their crimes, anything involving also murdering my children, getting rid of them, getting rid of me. And truly be honest with you, our lives are in tremendous danger because my kids were the main witnesses of what have happened to them. And that's why I need your prayers, tremendous prayers for our protection and for the truth and justice to prevail. We're fighting for all the children. We're fighting for all innocent lives that are being lost every day. Every day. Children were chained. Children were tortured. Children's even the precious feet were cut with razor-sharp objects so they can bleed, because it's a type of satanic rituals that they do, those evildoers. And the blood was taken from them. And you know the pedophiles, those evil people use children's blood. It's well known to stay young, rejuvenate themselves so they can live longer. It's disgusting. I'm telling you, God's children are not for sale. But they do all these crimes against children because they benefit themselves. They make so much money off children's blood. Okay, so I don't know how much longer I can talk because I'm very hurt. Tomorrow is Tammy's 5th anniversary of his death. Please pray. I think that the best gift for him will be just to pray for truth and justice to prevail in this case. He was a fighter. I can't even tell you. He was a fighter. He's a tremendous saint in heaven. God gave him reward beyond our imagination. And he's right here, right now. I invite him to be with me when I talk to you. And I said, Tammy, may my words be yours. May everybody who listens to it open their hearts to truth. Because it's so distorted. So much has been said to cover up. I don't know how people who seen the evidence of my children's abuse and decided to hide it, to protect the pedophiles involved in abusing my children, how they can sleep at night. Don't they know that God sees everything? God knows everything. God hears everything. Don't they know that one day they're going to have to stand in front of God and they're going to be judged based on their action, based on what they have done? Everything we have to be accounted for. And God's measures are different from our measures. Maybe they think, I did it to keep my job, or I did it because I was told by the supervisors. No, you are going to be responsible for your own actions, what you did or what you didn't do to help cover up the crimes. And I know I can tell you, Tammy's intercession is so powerful. Maybe I have time to speak directly about it, but whenever we ask Tammy, and we've been in so many difficulties, we're still fighting for justice right after 5 years. Whenever we ask Tammy if it's according to God's will, that's the bottom line. If it's according to God's will, it's being granted to us. Look at the criminal trial. They were doing everything to not convict Valva and Paulina, obviously, but Valva, they give him the best attorneys for free, right? The best.